biologics once again. So today we are going to discuss about the peptide bonds. Okay, so I am going to discuss the most important 10 points which frequently asked in the exams like CSIR, DBT and GATE. Okay, so what are those 10 points? First, how many covalent bonds are present in the peptide group? Second, what is the geometry of peptide bond? Third, how many atoms are present in the peptide group? Fourth, what is the nature of peptide group? Fifth, how a small dipole is formed at the peptide group. Sixth, what is the length of the peptide bond? Seventh, what are the different configurations of the peptide bond? Eighth, what are the bonds where the rotation is allowed and where rotation is not allowed? Okay, and ninth, what are the torsion angles? And the last point, 10th, is what is the charge of peptide bond? So okay, so these were the 10 most important points about the peptide bond, and I am sure that most of the questions are frequently from all these 10 points. Okay, so watch the video till the end to understand the proper concept of the peptide bond. So let's start. So before encountering those important 10 points, I would like to tell you about the basic definition of peptide bond. That is, peptide bond is a covalent bond through which two adjacent amino acids link together. Okay, so here you can see that this is amino acid 1 and this is amino acid 2. Okay, so I am going to draw the peptide bond. Okay, so whenever the peptide bond formation takes place, the carbonyl group of first amino acid and the amino group of second amino acids gets linked, right? So we will see how they link to each other with the help of peptide bond. Okay, so here we are drawing the peptide bond, right? So this is alpha carbon of first amino acid, hydrogen amino group R1, and this is carbonyl group of first amino acid. Now this is second amino acid's alpha carbon atom. Okay, now this is the amino group. Okay, and we know that in the peptide bond formation the carbonyl group and amino group takes place. Okay, so this is how the carbonyl group of first amino acid and amino group of second amino acids get linked to each other, right? And this is R2 and this is COOH. Okay, so this is the peptide bond. This is the peptide bond, right? Now we'll encounter one by one all the 10 important questions. So the first question was, how many covalent bonds are present in the peptide group, right? So here you can see that whenever a peptide bond formation takes place, there must be at least 2 amino acids. Okay, so here you can say that there are 2 amino acids, amino acid 1 and amino acid 2. So 2 amino acids means there will be 2 alpha carbon atoms, right? So in one peptide bond formation, there how many covalent bonds are there? So we'll count from here. Count with me. So we'll write from here: C alpha, alpha carbon. Okay, it is linked with the carbonyl carbon, right? And this is linked with the amide nitrogen, and this amide nitrogen is the next alpha carbon atom of next amino acid, right? Now count with me how many covalent bonds are there. 1, 2 and 3. So the answer of first question is how many covalent bonds are present in one peptide group. There are 3 covalent bonds are present in the one peptide group. You can see here. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we will move towards the second question, that what is the geometry of peptide bond? What is the geometry of peptide bond, right? So you might have heard about the 2 scientists, Linus Pauling and Robert Corey. Okay, Linus Pauling and Robert Corey. So they studied the X-ray structure of amino acids and dipeptides and elucidated that the peptide group occurs in the rigid planar structure. So the peptide group is essentially a planar structure. So how this occurs in a planar structure, I'm going to tell you. So this is a plane in which a peptide group is found. So this is planar structure. Okay, so the peptide group is essentially planar. So this was the answer of second question. Now we'll move towards the third question, that is how many atoms are present in one peptide group, right? So third question is how many atoms are present in one peptide group. So count with me how many atoms are present in one peptide group. So it starts with alpha carbon of first amino acid. So we'll write the number of atoms. So alpha carbon, this is one. Second atom is carbonyl carbon, right? Third atom is oxygen. Fourth is nitrogen. Fifth is hydrogen, and sixth is the alpha carbon of second amino acid. So there are 6 atoms. 6 atoms are present in one peptide group formation, right? Now the fourth question is what is the nature of peptide group? Okay, so what is the nature of peptide group? Okay, so fourth point was what is the nature of peptide group? Okay, so the nature of peptide group is it has a resonance property. Okay, it has partial double bond character. Okay, so partial double bond character means, understand this concept very clearly. So you can see here that there is one double bond. Okay, but this double bond is not completely double bond, it is a partial double bond. Okay, what does mean by partial? It means that this pair of electron, okay, this pair of electron can resonate between the carbonyl carbon and amide nitrogen. Okay, like it can be here or it can shift from here to here, right? So it can shift between carbonyl carbon and amide nitrogen, right? That's why it is known as partial double bond character. Okay, and we call this also that it has 40% double bond character. Got it? Not fully completely double bond character, it has 40% double bond character because it has resonance property. It can resonate between carbonyl carbon and amide nitrogen, right? Now the next point is how a small dipole is formed at the peptide group. Okay, as I told you that the double bond or the pair of electron can resonate between the carbonyl carbon and the amide nitrogen. Okay, so when this pair of electrons shift from carbonyl carbon to amide nitrogen, there is one negative charge come over oxygen and positive charge occur at nitrogen. Okay, so due to this there is a small dipole created over here. This act as a small dipole. Okay, got it? Now second the next point is what is the length of the peptide bond, right? So what is the length of the peptide bond? You all know that the length of the peptide bond is 1.32 angstrom. Okay, so today I will also tell you that how the length of the peptide bond, that is 1.32 angstrom, has been calculated. Okay, if you go to the structure of simple amine, okay, I'm not talking about the amino acid structure, you go to the structure of simple amine, there you will find that in simple amine structure, okay, there you will find that if you will see the length of the single bond between C and N in the simple amine, that will be 1.49 angstrom, right? And if you will see the length of double bond in the C and between the C and N in the simple amino structure, that will be 1.27 angstrom. Okay, so the length of the double bond of amide bond is 1.27 and length of single amide bond is 1.49. And I told you that this is not the completely double bond, this is not the completely single bond. Okay, so it shifts between the single and double bond. That's why the length of the peptide bond is 1.32. That is the average of 1.49 and 1.27. It comes around 1.32 angstrom. Okay, because this is not completely double bond, not completely single bond. It resonates between the single and double bond. That's why it is the average of the length of single and double bond, right? The next point is, what are the different configurations of peptide bond? Okay, so the different configuration of peptide bonds, there are two configurations of peptide bond. One is cis peptide bond, okay, and okay, one is cis peptide bond and other is trans peptide bond, right? So the structure I have drawn here representing the form of trans peptide bond. Okay, you can see here that the R group of adjacent amino acids, R group of first amino acid and R group of second amino acids are trans to each other. Okay, they are far from each other. That's why there is no steric hindrance, and this form of peptide bond is stable. But when we will talk about the cis form of peptide bond, it will be drawn like this, C alpha, okay, and R1 and C alpha, R2, H, C, N. Okay, so this is the cis peptide bond, okay, and this is trans peptide bond. Here you can see that the R group of both adjacent amino acids are in very close proximity. That's why there is steric hindrance, and due to this steric hindrance, the cis peptide bond form is not stable. Okay, so the favorable conformation in the protein is trans form of peptide bond. So this is the favorable conformation, right? This is the favorable conformation. But the more I am going to tell you one most important thing that is very important in context of your exam. Like wherever there are two prolines will be present. Wherever there are two prolines will be present, there will be formation of cis peptide bond. This is very important in context of exams. Wherever there is two prolines comes, this will take this is responsible for the formation of cis peptide bond, right? So this was very important. Now we'll move towards the next point, that is, what are the bonds where rotation is allowed and what are the bonds where rotation is not allowed, right? So okay, now you can see here that, as I told you, that this is a double bond, partial double bond, and the partial double bond resonate between the carbonyl and amine nitrogen, so it can be here or it can be here. Got it? Now you know that this is the double bond, okay, partial double bond. So in contrast to peptide bond, that is this bond, this is peptide bond, the C alpha C bond, this one, okay, this one, and N C alpha, that is this one. In contrast to peptide bond, this is peptide bond, this is peptide bond, okay. So in contrast to peptide bond, these two bonds, C alpha C and NC alpha, are completely, purely single bonded. Okay, single bonded. That's why rotation cannot be allowed where the double bond is present. Rotation is only allowed where single bond is present. So here rotation is allowed and here rotation is allowed, right? So rotation is allowed at these two bonds, C alpha C and NC alpha, right? Now the next point is, what are torsion angles? Okay, so torsion angles are the angle of rotation. Okay, as I told you here that rotation is allowed only here, okay, at C alpha C and NC alpha. So the angle of rotation about the NC alpha, the angle of rotation about the NC alpha is phi, and angle of rotation about around C alpha C is psi. Okay, so I used to remember this like C psi, C psi, okay, and NC phi. So this is the easiest way to remember. You can remember like this also. Okay, so these are the torsion angles. Okay, so the freedom of rotation around these two bonds, of each amino acid allows the protein to fold in many different conformations, right? Now you got you already understood about the torsion angles, okay, and what are the bonds where rotation is allowed. Now the last and 10th point is, what is the charge of peptide bond? Okay, so the 10th point is charge of peptide bond. So what is the charge of peptide bond? Now I told you that this, okay, I will, or I can draw up with you for you. Okay, suppose C alpha, okay, and okay, so as you know that the double bond resonates between the carbonyl carbon and amide nitrogen, right? So here you can see that there is no charge right now, okay, and when this bond, the pair of electrons shift from here to here, the negative charge comes over the oxygen and positive charge come over the nitrogen. Okay, so there is one minus charge, there is one plus charge. Overall charge become 0. You know that minus and plus become 0. So the overall charge on peptide is 0. Okay, so in both cases the peptide group will be uncharged, right? So these were the 10 important points about the peptide group you must understand if you are going to give the exams of CSIR, DBT and GATE. Okay, I hope you understand and I hope you like this video, and for more upcoming videos please subscribe my channel and share with your friends, and if you have any doubts you can always write in the comment box. Thank you so much.